Hey guys, Rob here. Today's video, I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips and tricks on how to catch largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, whatever kind of bass you got in your area. I'm going to show you guys what I do, what works for me. We'll go for baits, knots, and water, and all the conditions and stuff. So stay tuned, guys. All right, so first we got like a little 1 mile hike, give or take, to a pond, and we're going to set up there and I'll go over everything. All right guys, so to start off, I have two rods with me. I have a bait caster here, and then I have a spinning rod right here, okay? And the reason why I have both of these rods with me is because I'm fishing really thick areas. There's a lot of lily pads. The wind is gusting pretty hard today, and although I prefer freshwater fishing with a bait caster, sometimes it's a little bit hard to cast into specific areas that are close to you. Just because of the way you have to kind of cast the rod itself. So I bought a spinning rod because this is easier to get into those tight little corners of areas where you want to drop that bait down. All right, so when it comes to baits, I generally will carry a few different kinds of baits. I do have a specific bait that works extremely well for these dark waters here, and especially for the bass. I'm going to show you guys that here. So this brand right here, Yum, they make excellent baits, and the bait that I like to use is watermelon red flake, and this is a 5-inch or 6-inch Senko. That's what this is called, it's a Senko. And I'm gonna pull one out. In this bag I have a bunch of different other ones, but preferably this is my go-to bait right here. It's like green and it's got like red and black flakes all in it, and this just works extremely well for the bass. So we're going to start off actually throwing that right there. So the first type of rig that we're going to tie here is going to be for that Senko, and we're going to tie a Texas rig. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to tie that. And what we have right here, this black thing on my line, is called a bobber stop. So we're going to put that bobber stop on the line, and then we're going to take a weight, a bullet weight, which is one of these. This is a 1/8 ounce. And then we're going to feed that line through the bullet weight like that. And that bobber stop stops that weight from being able to drop down any farther. So you can kind of control where you set your weight at. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to tie a hook on. And the hook that I like to use is a EWG hook, which stands for extra wide gap. This is a size 4. So I'm going to tie this on, so I'm going to feed that line through, and the type of knot that I always use for this is called improved clinch knot. And how that works is you feed your tag in through the hook, through the eye of the hook. Feed your tag in through the eye of the hook, and then just pinch it right here. Just pinch it right there. And then start wrapping the tag end of the line over the main part of the line. And you're gonna do that 15 times. So we're at 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we wrapped it 15 times over the main line. And then we're gonna take this tag end, while still pinching this end by the eye of the hook. We're gonna take this tag end and we're gonna feed it through there. Okay, then once we have it fed through there, we're going to take the tag in and loop it back through this. Then grab it with your other finger, pull it tight, just like that. You can let go of the hook side now. And then you're gonna wanna wet this knot. So all those wraps, you're gonna wanna wet that. You can use water or saliva, whatever you got around. So now after it's wet, and what that does is it keeps the line from heating up from friction. And this is extremely beneficial when using like monofilament or any type of leader line, is to wet it. So if you guys can see that there, the knot is closing in on itself. And then pull that tight. And then we're just going to trim the excess off the tag end there. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to apply our bait to the hook. And then just take the hook, the sharp side, just put it through. And I do like about 1/2 inch. Feed it through about 1/2 inch. And then feed it over this loop part. Push it over that knot there, covers up that knot. And then this part right here, you're gonna hook it into the bait. So mark where the hook ends, which is at the tip of my right thumb. That's where the hook ends, so that's where I'm going to insert the sharp part. Push it through, just like that. And then the trick is to make this thing weedless. That way you're not going to get hung up on stuff and catch a bunch of debris or whatever as you're working this bait along. So you just take that sharp part, pinch the worm, and we're just going to insert just a tiny bit of that hook back into the worm. That way it's all flat. And then we're going to take that bullet weight is at the tip of the worm here, and then we're going to take the bobber stopper and we're just going to run that bobber stopper all the way up and butt it up against that weight, just like that. Now the weight can't go anywhere, and now you have a weighted bait that you can cast around. And what's cool about these Senkos is that when they hit the water, they like to float upwards like this, the tail. All right, so one of the most important things to look for when fishing is look around the area, look for structure, all right? Especially when bass fishing and stuff. Fish generally like to hang out in and around structure. They're not usually just out in the middle, just floating around, you know? They're in areas where they can ambush prey and have good concealment. So look around for like dead trees in the water, lily pads, and a lot of time too, the fish, the bass are hanging out right next to the bank. You know, usually 10 feet off the bank is where they're at, because that's where those bait fish usually are. So if you're fishing, you know, try to keep that kind of stuff in mind, and that way you'll know where to cast at. So I'm gonna get myself into a position here so that way I'm gonna try to cast out straight out ahead, where it might be hard for you guys to see, but the grass kind of comes to a point right there and the water's kind of pushing through there, and it's probably a good chance that there's a bass up in that area waiting for a bait fish to get pushed through. So we're gonna go ahead and take a cast and see if we can get on anything. I have a lot of trees and stuff behind me, so I have to be careful not to get snagged when I make my cast. That's why having a spinning rod is good to have in this situation, because if you guys look at all of this, I mean, these trees are literally right over my head, and having a spinning rod just makes it that much easier to get that cast out there. All right, yep, we got it right out where we wanted it. So I'm just gonna jerk that bait along, just bounce it. And if I feel any tapping on the rod, on the line, then that means that a fish has sucked that bait up. And once it does that, you're gonna wanna set the hook. So you're gonna wanna take this rod, bring it down like this, and just whip it up pretty hard. You know, give that fish like 2 or 3 seconds after you feel that tap tap. Give him about 2-3 seconds and then set that hook. All right, we got one, guys. We got one. Come on, stay hooked. There we go. That's a bass right there, guys. Let's go and get this hook out of him so we can get him back. That's probably 16 inches. Let's actually measure him real quick. He's actually 17 and a quarter. So 17 and a quarter inch bass, and we caught it on that yum dinger, and all I did was I cast out to that edge there, right where they usually like to hang out is on the edges, and then started working it in. And go ahead and release him. Wants it. Got him now. Guys, three tries to get this. Oh my gosh, he's a slab. Oh man, guys, this thing is a beast. Look at this. This has got to be over 20 inches. Let's go to the light so you guys can see him. All right, let's get this hook out, get a measure on him. Whew. So he didn't want that bait dancing around. I was kind of swimming it real fast where it was almost on the top of the water there. I mean, look at the size of this thing, guys. This is a massive bass. And we are absolutely going to measure him and then get him back. Where can I measure him at? Do not want this guy to get away. All right, we'll go over here. You guys can see this here. It's a fat bass. So he is like, looks like 20 and a quarter, possibly 20 and a half. 20 and a half. All right, guys, let's get one last look at him. Big guy. All right, let's get him back. Thanks for the catch. Make sure that you are ready to go. Yep. Peaceful swim off. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up the video here. I think that right there was a good demonstration on why I like to use these here Senkos. especially the watermelon red flake. Highly suggest that you guys pick up a pack of these. And I hope that all the information that I gave is helpful to you guys. Yeah, that was a epic bass at the end. 20.5 inches. That's not a small bass, guys. That's a big guy. And what's crazy is, like, I just improvised and started skipping that bait across, kind of on the surface there, and he hit it. He hit it 2 other times, and then the 3rd time, I was like, I got you now. And yeah, that was an awesome catch, and I don't think that we're gonna beat that today. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. We caught those 2 fish. One was 17.25, and then that last one at 20.5. What a great day fish. There's so much new water out here from the hurricane and stuff. The water level here is like 3 feet higher than normal, at least. So I think it was a success. I forgot to mention earlier that there is going to be a part 2 to this video, and that's going to be saltwater fishing. So we're going to hit the river, and we're going to do some saltwater fishing, throwing around some artificial baits, and we're going to try to get hooked up there. And I'm going to show you guys my tips and tricks for the water here. Hopefully it helps you guys out too. So guys, if you found the video helpful, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up for me, subscribe if you're new, share the video with somebody, and till next time guys, hope to see you on the trail with me. Peace.